Hello folks, I'm Brian Reid. This is Brenda Lee, together with my excellent support team where horses know the way home. We're here today to talk about Jennifer Oikel's Tele-Summitt series. We're on the 29th of 30 interviews, all at least an hour long, of people across the planet who have dedicated their lives to helping people with horses. Today we're going to talk with Paul Smith. He's a PhD and teacher at Prescott University. And today we're going to talk about meaningful metaphors. The art of actually making sure that the metaphor of the horse or the metaphor of the exercise that you're using to help a human with, that it is effective, that it is, and they say the art of the metaphor, meaning you created something that's beautiful and effective, that's created movement. And it's the movement that you wanted to. And Paul, by virtue of his position at Prescott University, where they teach graduate work and postgraduate work in horses helping humans and the variety of fields that it's in, Paul eloquently puts everything in a very specific way. A way that has been honed with, imagine if you're the person who is at the focal point for the last 10 years of the best practices of this industry. And imagine you're in the middle of academia and your job is to sort and sift through that information to disseminate the actual description of what works and what doesn't work. That's what Paul has to offer us. Somebody who just studies what works and what doesn't work. And when we use metaphors like the power of the horse, the beauty of the horse, the presence of a horse, and how to help humans with that and set up a situation in which the human can reflect on themselves, Paul says a lot of times the thought has to go into the setup of the metaphor. And he'll use terminology like the frame it and front load it. Ray Hunt, a natural horseman, would say, notice what happens before what happened, and you'll know what really happened. Notice what happened before what happened, and you'll know what really happened. Well, Paul talks about framing and front loading and a situation, an exercise in which you bring a horse in to help a group of people, individual clients, and you look at that client, what they're looking for, the context that it's in, the content you want to create, and then does the metaphor of what you're doing with the horse, does the exercise serve movement of that? So that the individual can move beyond an understanding, a conscious awareness of it, but actually creates movement towards what they want, an actual shift. And does the exercise work? So the framing and front loading is actually creating what happens before it happened and making sure that the setup and the prep is structured to facilitate movement for what the client's position is, what the client's context is, what they want movement in. And to watch the exercises, because many of us can get lost in the exercise, and it's not about the exercise, it's not about the practice. It's about the client and the movement. It's about the relationship with the client with the horse, the client with you, this relationship, the relationship with the group, and watching that relationship, as Paul puts it, to see if you're actually getting what you intentionally wanted to create by paying attention to the client's needs and desires and where they're at and where they want to move towards. And that metaphor, making sure that metaphor of the horse serves that. And he'll actually call it isomorphic, making sure there's an actual absorption of the information that is meaningful beyond just conscious awareness. It actually goes beyond conscious awareness. And he talked about actually helping people practice living into a movement that matters. Paul, I love the way you put things. I didn't do you justice in this video because the way you put it, you can see it comes from years of seasoning information and extracting it down to the root the root words. Like I love framing and front loading, and I like isomorphic, and I love practice, and I love living into a new way of being. I love the way you put all those things. I'm going to use them immediately in my practice. Thank you so much. Thank you for being at the forefront of the industry. Jennifer, thank you for bringing Paul to us. Anybody who's in this practice, listen to this video, this Tele-Summit series, this Tele-Summit interview for the next 48 hours. Take out a paper and pencil. You're going to want to take notes. You're going to want to rewind. And if you want to download it for keeps, go to horsesknowthewayhome.com/healing, and you can download the entire 30 interviews. This one interview will make such a significant difference in your practice just by knowing what framing and front loading is, doing the right preparation, not noticing what happened before what happened, but actually intentionally setting up what you want to have happen, and before that, framing and front loading it so what you want to have happen happens naturally out of your intentions and out of the horse's presence, because the horse is going to do what the horse is going to do. But we can actually set it up so what the horse does is serving our client and noticing that relationship, and does it serve that rather than serve the exercise or the practice or our own issues, and not getting those mixed up. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Jennifer, for bringing Paul to us. Thank you all for listening. Tomorrow is the last interview, and I can't wait to get going back through them with paper and pencil, with pad, and getting the notes so I can have this down and integrate the best practices into my clientele. Have a great day. It's a beautiful sunny day in Southern Rhode Island. I hope it's beautiful where you are. Brenda, what do you think? She's all set.